I died choking on my own blood. The cold steel of the interrogation room table pressing into my cheek as Agent Harlan's boot ground my fingers into the floor. You think you're untouchable,
Poppy?
We own you. Those were the last words I heard before the darkness swallowed me whole, betrayed by the man I'd called partner for 8 years. Framed for a dirty cop killing that wasn't mine. But death. It was just a reset button. When I gasped awake in my old apartment, the alarm blaring 6:45 a.m. on that cursed Tuesday morning 3 months before it all went to hell, I knew. God. The universe. Or some pissed-off karma had given me one more shot. And this time, I wouldn't bleed out begging for mercy. I'd make them drown in it. The coffee burned my tongue, black and bitter like the truth I'd ignored for too long. I stared at my reflection in the microwave door, same sharp jaw, same storm gray eyes that had stared down cartel bosses without flinching, now wide with the ghost of what was coming. My badge sat on the counter, polished to a mocking shine, FBI issued and heavy with lies. Harlan, tall, slick-haired Harlan with his Ivy League drawl and that fake Southern charm, had played me like a mark in a Ponzi scheme. We'd been chasing a ghost network of corrupt feds laundering money through Chicago's underground fight rings. But he'd been the ghost all along. Fed me just enough rope to hang myself, then yanked it tight when I got too close to his cut of the take. I slammed the mug down, shards of ceramic scattering like the fragments of my old life. No time for what-ifs. The clock was ticking back to 0. And I had intel from the grave, Harlan's burner phone pings, the offshore accounts in the Caymans, the mole in our squad who was his sister-in-law, Detective Reyes. She'd plant the evidence, the bloodied knife from the hit on Officer Malik, in my locker by week's end. But not this time. I grabbed my service Glock from the nightstand, checked the mag, and whispered to the empty room. Round 2. Assholes. Let's dance. By 7:30, I was in the Bureau's garage, the humid Chicago summer air already thick with exhaust and regret. My unmarked Crown Vic purred to life, and I peeled out toward the field office on Roosevelt, mind racing faster than the engine. First move, play dumb.
Keep the routine.
Clock in. Nod at the bullpen grunts nursing their hangovers, and slide into Harlan's orbit like nothing had changed. He'd be there, tie loose, sleeves rolled up, flashing that boyish grin that hid teeth sharp as a switchblade. Morning. Pops, he'd say, like we were still the dynamic duo cracking cases over dive bar whiskeys. The office buzzed with the usual chaos, phones ringing off hooks, printers jamming mid-report, some rookie fumbling a stack of surveillance photos. I dumped my bag at my desk, the one scarred from too many stakeouts, and fired up the ancient desktop. Email backlog, nothing but spam and a memo from the SAC about budget cuts. Perfect cover. I scanned the room, spotting Harlan by the coffee machine, chatting up Reyes. She laughed at something he said, her dark ponytail swinging. All false camaraderie. My gut twisted. Last life. I'd trusted her with my 6. Shared war stories about growing up in the projects. Now, she was Exhibit A in the Betrayal Hall of Fame. Hey, Poppy, Harlan called, waving me over with a styrofoam cup. Up close. He smelled like Old Spice and ozone from the copier. You look like you saw a ghost. Rough night. I forced a smirk. The kind that said business as usual. Just the usual nightmares about paperwork. What's the play today? That tip on the fight ring. His eyes flickered, too quick for most. But I'd learned to read him like a bad hand in poker. Yeah,
About that.
Brass wants us to sit tight. Possible blowback from the Malik shooting. Internal Affairs is sniffing around. Liar. In my first go-round, that was code for bury the file. Malik had stumbled onto the laundering op, a crooked judge funneling bribes through rigged bouts in abandoned warehouses on the south side. Harlan pulled the trigger himself, but pinned it on me after Reyes slipped the gun into my evidence log. The frame-up was airtight, my prints lifted from a shared beer bottle, ballistics matching my duty weapon, witnesses recanting under pressure. They revoked my badge mid-interrogation. But here's the kicker, my contract. That ironclad federal employment deal with its endless clauses hadn't been voided yet. One obscure line about pending exoneration appeals gave me just enough wiggle room to lawyer up from a holding cell. But they couldn't wait. A suicide in custody sealed the deal. Clean kill. No loose ends. I nodded, sipping the swill he handed me. Smart. Last thing we need is IA up our asses.
Inside.
Gears turned. I needed proof hard. Digital proof before they moved. Lunch hour. I'd hacked the server logs from the public library Wi-Fi. Cross-reference with the ghost tips I'd memorized from Hell's waiting room. The morning dragged in meetings that reeked of bureaucracy, PowerPoints on sensitivity training, budget reallocations that gutted undercover funds. I zoned out, doodling nooses on my notepad, until Harlan leaned in during the break. Pops, you good? You've been
Off.
jet lag from dreamland, I quipped, but my voice cracked just enough to sell it. Vulnerability was my old armor. Now it was bait. He bought it, clapping my shoulder like a big brother. Tell you what, drinks after shift? Decompress. Trap 1.
Sprung.
Last time. That decompress ended with a spiked Long Island in my veins and a cab ride to the chop shop where they staged my confession. This round, I'd flip the script. Affirmative, I said. But you're buying. And make it whiskey, none of that rail crap. He chuckled, oblivious.
Deal.
By noon, I was out, claiming a source meet. The library on Halstead was a tomb of fluorescent hums and homeless guys snoring over newspapers. I snagged a corner terminal. VPN routed through a dummy server in Toronto, skills picked up from a cartel bust gone sideways. Keywords: Harlan transfer logs, Malik autopsy discrepancies, Cayman wire 47K. Jackpot. Buried in the encrypted audit trail, a ghost account siphoning funds. Time-stamped to Harlan's login. And Reyes? Her IP bounced from the same node during the evidence plant. I downloaded it all to a thumb drive disguised as a lipstick case, girl power perk, and bolted. Heart pounding like a bass drop at a trap concert, I hit the streets, weaving through lunch rush pedestrians. Paranoia itched. Were they tailing me already? A black SUV idled at the light. FBI plates?
Nah.
Just a soccer mom. Still, I doubled back through an alley, Glock heavy in my ankle holster. Back at the office by 2 p.m., I played it cool, logging fake mileage for the meet. Harlan was on a call, barking orders at some uniform downtown. Reyes eyed me from her desk, that cop intuition prickling. Productive lunch? She asked, casual as a traffic stop. Dead end, I lied, flashing teeth. But hey,
Persistance pays.
she hummed, non-committal. But I caught the glance she shot Harlan when he hung up.
Clockwork.
Shift and hit like a freight train. The bullpen emptied, fluorescent lights buzzing farewell. Harlan waited by my desk, keys jingling. Ready to unwind? Lead the way. Partner. We rolled to O'Malley's. A dive off Wabash with sticky floors and jukebox blues that masked half the confessions in the city. Harlan ordered the whiskeys, top shelf, smooth as his cons, and we slid into a booth scarred with knife fights past. Neon from a Miller sign painted his face devil red, and for a split second, I saw the mask slip, greed in the set of his jaw. The way his fingers drummed the table like he was calculating odds. So he started, clinking glasses. Malik's mess. You hear the whispers? IA thinks it was an inside hit. I sip slow, letting the burn ground me. Whispers say a lot. Facts say squat until proven. He leaned in, voice dropping. Pops. Off the record? I think it's bigger. Syndicate ties. Maybe even brass involvement. We poke. We bleed. Classic Harlan. Drip feed the half-truth.
Reel you in.
Last life.
Idebiten.
Spilling my suspicions about the judge. This time, I mirrored him. Bigger how? You got names? His laugh was a bark. If I did, we'd be drinking Cristal. Not this horse piss. But trust me, stay low.
Trust.
The words soured the whiskey. I nodded, eyes on the door. 5 minutes in, and there Reyes, coincidentally at the bar, nursing a gin and tonic. Amateur hour. Conversation flowed like the L train, surface chatter about exes. Bad busts. The Cubs' eternal choke. But under it, I probed, offhand questions about fund reallocations that came in ping disguised as tax gripe. He deflected smooth, but I logged every twitch. 2 drinks deep. He got maudlin. You know, Poppy, you're the best damn partner I ever had. Saved my ass in that warehouse 18. Remember? Cartel goons. You with the headshot from 50 yards. I did remember, vivid as the bullet I'd take later. Yeah. Brothers in arms. His eyes softened, crocodile tears brewing. To family, the toast hung, and that's when I dropped the hook. Speaking of sorry as earlier. She mentioned that side gig, the one with the offshore wires.
Blank stare.
Then recovery. Wires?
Nah.
She's clean as a whistle. Liars tell. Sip too quick. Eyes to the left.
Gotcha.
I feigned buzz, slurring a bit. Good. 'Cause if not,
Well.
family sticks. Right? He bought the drunk act, signaling for the check. Let's get you home. Lightweight. Outside. The night air slapped sobriety back. His hand on my elbow, guiding. Or gripping. We hit the alley shortcut to the lot. Shadows pooling under dumpsters like spilled ink. That's when it hit. The van. Same matte black from my nightmare. Idling at the mouth. 2 goons in tactical vests. Faces obscured by balaclavas. Harlan. I slurred for effect, stumbling into him. He steadied me, whispering,
Easy. Pops.
just a chat. Rage ignited. Hot and holy. I twisted. Glock out in a blur. Years of Quantico drills paying dividends. The first goon lunged. I sidestepped. Cracked his knee with the butt. Heard the pop like gunfire. He crumpled, howling. Poppy. What the foo? Harlan's shock was poetry.
Ispon.
Barrel kissing his forehead. Drop the act. You son of a bitch. I know about the accounts. The plant. Malik. His face cycled, denial. Fury. Calculation. You're drunk. Put it down. The second goon charged, bigger, dumber. I fired low, shattering his shin. No kill shots, not yet. Cleanup's a bitch. He dropped, clutching the ruin. Van door slammed, driver peeling out. Tires screeching gospel. Reyes? Nowhere. But her scent lingered. Betrayal. Sirens wailed distant, drawn by the pops. Harlan backed up, hands raised. Pops. Listen, this is a misunderstanding.
No.
I pressed the muzzle harder, tasting copper from bitten lip. You killed me. Framed me for your mess. Let them waterboard the truth out in that room. But my contract? That little clause on appeals? It bought me time you didn't count on. Only you rushed it. Suicide by cop, neat, but sloppy. His eyes widened, recognition dawning.
How?
You couldn't. No, because I lived it. Asshole. Died, choking on lies you fed me. The words poured. Cathartic venom.
Now.
Here's the new deal. You confess. Everything. The judge. The rings. Reyes cut. Or I pull this trigger and claim self-defense. Your call. Rain started. Fat drops hissing on asphalt. He searched my face. Saw the void where trust used to be. You're bluffing.
Test.
I thumbed the hammer.
Click.
Fuck. He sagged, rain streaking his perfect hair. Okay. But not here. My place. Safe. Liar still. But I'd take the bait, lead him to the recorder in my car. The thumb drive mirrored to a cloud dead man switch. One wrong move, and it all floods the Sun-Times inbox. Cops swarmed minutes later, my backup. Called anonymous from a burner mid-scuffle. Harlan spun a yarn about a mugging gone wrong. I corroborated. Tearful damsel. Goons zip-tied. Groaning. No prints on my gun. Wiped clean in the rain. By dawn, I was home. Drive uploaded. Anonymous tip filed to IA with timestamps. Harlan's apartment? Raided by 8 a.m. Cayman ledgers spilling like confetti. Reyes arrested at her desk. Ponytail limp. Screaming denials. But the real twist? In the server dive. I'd found the deeper cut. Harlan wasn't solo. The SAC, our boss, silver-haired icon Robert Klein, signed off on the hits. Political cover for his Senate run. Laundering votes through the same dirty money. My death, collateral for his ambition. Round 2 was just warming up. Klein's office loomed, and I had a clause of my own, revenge. Served cold. The fallout hit like a Chicago winter, brutal, unrelenting, and impossible to ignore. By Monday, the headline screamed, FBI corruption bust, top agent linked to fight ring slayings. Harlan's mugshot plastered every feed. That smug grin twisted into infamy. I watched from my couch, nursing black coffee and a bruised ego, as talking heads dissected the heroic tipster who'd cracked it wide. Me, ghost in the machine, badge intact for now. Sleep was a joke. Nightmares looped, the interrogation, Harlan's boot, the gurgle in my throat. But woven in were new threads, visions of what I'd do next.
Klein.
The man who'd mentored me out of the academy, praised my instincts over beers at the annual gala. Your family, puppy, he'd said, arm around my shoulders like a proud dad.
Family.
The word curdled now, synonym for syndicate. I needed leverage. Solid, courtroom kissable proof. The thumb drive was a start, but Klein was Teflon, decades of schmoozing politicians, burying scandals under red tape. His play, distance himself, pin it on Harlan as a rogue, then ride the cleanup wave to glory. Classic DC. Chess. With Chicago pawns like me getting crushed. Tuesday morning. I suited up, tailored black pantsuit, hair in a severe bun. The picture of professional detachment. Field office was a circus. Feds and windbreakers sealing Harlan's cube. Techs cloning hard drives. Whispers snaking through the vents. Rhea's desk?
Taped off.
Yellow like a crime scene. I clocked in, nodded at the stairs, and headed straight for Klein's corner office. Glass walls. View of the loop skyline mocking the mess below. His secretary, Marge, 50-ish, with cat-eye glasses and a no bullshit vibe, waved me through. He's expecting fallout.
Hun.
Tread light. Inside, Klein paced like a caged wolf, phone to ear, barking at some suit in D.C. Yes. Senator, contained. Full transparency post-audit. He hung, spotting me, face shifting to paternal concern.
Poppy.
Christ. You okay? Heard about the alley scrap.
Harlan.
That bastard. Oscar-worthy. Bob, I said, closing the door soft. No chair offered. I stood, forcing him to look up. He blinked, then chuckled, nervous.
What?
I tossed the secondary drive on his desk, the one with his sign-offs mirrored from the raid. Cut the crap. Cayman wires to your shell corp. The green light on Malik. And my suicide? Your idea to tie off loose ends. Color drained from his ruddy cheeks. He snatched the drive, popping it in his laptop like it was a grenade. Screen glowed damning. Emails. Transfers. A voice memo of him coaching Harlan on the frame.
This. Forgery.
Deep fake bullshit. Run it by forensics. You'll see it's mint. I leaned on the desk. Voice low steel. You revoked my badge that night mid-questioning. Like I was trash. But the contract clause? Appeals pending. Gave me 72 hours to fight. You panicked. Ordered the hit to preempt. Sloppy.
Bob.
For a climber like you? He sagged into his chair, eyes darting to the window, escape routes in his head. Poppy.
Listen.
It wasn't personal. The ring was bleeding the bureau dry. Harlan went off book. I cleaned house. Liar. I pulled a chair. Sat deliberate. You built the house. Senate bid needs clean hands. Ironic.
Huh?
But here's my pitch. Resign. Quietly. Endorse me for your slot. I bury the extras. His laugh was hollow. You?
Suck?
You're a field grunt.
Poppy.
Street smart. Sure. But politics? You'd fold like a lawn chair. Try me. The room thickened. Air electric with standoff. Outside. A helicopter chopped the sky, media vultures circling. Or I leak. Not just this, the old files. That '03 scandal with the mayor's kid? Buried under your watch. Bluff. Half true. I'd pieced it from fragmented memories. Cross-checked in a midnight Google deep dive. His eyes narrowed. Hit. Blackmail? From my protege. Evolution. I stood, smoothing my jacket. 48 hours. Tick-tock. I left him stewing, pulse thundering victory march. But doubt nipped heels. Was this me? Or the grave's poison? Last life. I'd played straight, loyal to a fault.
Now?
Bending rules felt like breathing. Back at my desk, the vultures descended. Junior agents pumped for details. I stonewalled with ongoing. Then, the call, unknown number. Voice distorted. Agent Harlow. Nice moves. But Klein's not the apex. Walk away. Or join Malik.
Click.
Gooseflesh rippled. Syndicate? Or Klein's desperation play? I traced it, burner. Dead end. But the threat lingered. Shadow puppet. That night, I hit the streets solo. South Side warehouses. Ghosts of the ring. Chain link rattled under my grip as I slipped through a gap. Glock drawn. Moonlight slanted through broken windows, illuminating faded fight posters. Blood Night, Friday Fury, echoes of grunts. Crowd roars, Malik's last bust. Where Harlan put two in his back. Footsteps, crunch on gravel. I melted into shadows. Breath steady. Figure emerged, not Goon, but her. Lena Voss, the judge's widow. Mid-40s, blonde bob, pearls like armor. She'd been clean in my memories, grieving, cooperative. Now,
Suspect.
Poppy, her whisper cut fog. I know you're here. Harlan called before they took him. Said you'd gone rogue. I stepped out, barrel low. Rogue? That's rich from the woman whose hubby laundered millions through death matches. Her face crumpled. Genuine? Gerald was trapped. Klein strings. He wanted out, told me everything. The ledgers. The hits. But they killed him for it.
Heart attack.
They said. Poison. I say. Twist one. Ally or another layer. I lowered the gun fraction. Proof. She handed a slim USB, trembling fingers. His journal. Encrypted. Passwords our anniversary. 0714. I pocketed it. Mind whirring. Why me? Because you're the ghost. Harlan raved, said you came back knowing too much. Like some avenging angel. Her laugh bitter. If it's true. End it. Reign again. Biblical. We parted shadows. Me with new ammo. Her vanishing into the night. Back home. Journal decrypted. Pages of dread. Klein's threats scrawled in Gerald's neat script. And a name. Victor Hale.
Shadow Financier.
Pulling strings from a Gold Coast penthouse. The apex. Dawn brought Klein's white flag. Email resignation. C-seat to DC. Endorsing Agent Harlow's exemplary service. Brass bought it. Scandal fatigue. My badge? Promoted. Shiny new SAC interim gig. But celebration?
Nah. Hallelujah.
Inauguration lunch. Steak tartare and 4 smiles in a loop high-rise. Brass toasted my tenacity, eyes probing for cracks. I nodded through. Mind on Hale, ex-Wall Street shark. Now philanthropist funding cop charities. Ironic. Post-meal, I corner the IT was geeky kid named Theo. Run a deep scan, Victor Hale. Cross-referenced with bureau leaks. He blinked.
Mom. That's.
High level.
Now.
Authorities honey. By evening. Hits. Hale's shell core mirroring the Cayman flow. And a kicker, ties to my old precinct. Back when I was a beat cop in '09. The mistake I'd buried. A brutality shakedown on a kid who looked too much like my brother. Covered up. Badge shielded. Had Hale bankrolled it? Or worse, witnessed? Guilt gnawed. Old wound reopened. That kid. Jamal, shot later in a gang crossfire. My shot. Clean. But the cover let the real killer walk. Hale's gala loomed. Friday. Magnificent Mile Hotel. Black tie schmooze fest. Invite gold embossed. Slipped under my door anonymous. Trap? Invitation?
Both.
I prepped like war. Gown slit for the ankle holster. Hair down to hide the wire.
跳蛇不
Pinned to the clutch. You'll hear everything, he promised. Pale but game. Valet took the Vic. I glided in. Heels clicking marble like countdowns. Crystal chandeliers dripped wealth. Air thick with perfume and power plays. Klein cornered me by the bar. Tux rumpled. Scotch breath. Enjoying the throne. Poppy. Better view from up here. I sipped champagne. Bubbles, mocking fizz. He leaned close. Venom low. Hale's watching. Word of advice. Some debts aren't paid with leaks.
Debts.
I arched brow. Like the one you owe me? Snarl flickered. Watch your back. He melted into the crowd. I scanned. Hale. Silver fox at the podium. Toasting law and order. Eyes locked. Ice blue.
Predatory.
He descended. Entourage parting like Red Sea. Agent Harlow, or should I say, acting SAC? Charmed. Handshake firm. Cologne overpowering. Sandalwood and sin. Mister.
Hale.
Your charities do wonders. Or so the spreadsheets say. His laugh boomed. A woman after my own ledgers. Dance. Waltz into the lion's den. Spotlight swirled. String swelling. His hand on my waist possessive. Heard you topple Harlan. Impressive. But webs tangle both ways.
Un tangle mine.
Then. I pressed. Voice breathy for the wire. What do you know about '09? Jamal Ellis. Pause. Step falter. Ancient history. Why dredge? Because history repeats. Like your fun's greasing palms that night. Smile thinned. Bold accusation. Got proof? Or just ghosts whispering? Both. The music crested, I spun out, leaving him adrift. Wire caught it all, his mutter to an aide. Double the detail on Harlow. She's a problem. Home by midnight. Transcript burning holes. But sleep evaded. Jamal's face haunted. 14 and terrified under my baton. Mistake? Or seed of this rot? Saturday. Deep dive. Voss's journal cross-checked with Hale's core. Bingo. '09 payout. Hush money to my precinct. Signed VH. He'd bought the cover. Shielded the shooter, his nephew. Dirty badge turned cartel mule. Rage boiled. Call to Theo. Pull Hale's nephew file. Full bio. Hits, deceased.
Otin 15.
But offspring?
Asson.
Low-level fixer. Haunting the same warehouses. Twist 2. Family legacy. Hale's empire. Built on bones like mine. Sunday confessional. I drove to Jamal's old block. Englewood decay unchanged. Stood at the mural, his face spray-painted bold. Justice delayed. Graffiti whispered, "You failed me." Tears hot. First life. I numbed it with work. Second?
Ideduna.
Or burn trying. Monday war counsel me.
Te.
And a wild card, Marge.
Klinesek.
Who'd slipped me dirt on his safe codes. Hale's penthouse, she said. Over diner eggs. Biometrics. But backdoor service elevator. Maintenance hack. Plan hatched. Night raid. Extract Hale's master drive. Risky, armed security. Cameras galore. But clause in my contract? Extraordinary circumstances. Green light for off-books if it saves the Bureau. Dusk fell. We moved. Theo on overwatch. Jamming feeds from a van. Marge with blueprints. Me in blacks. Lockpick set jangling like wind chimes. Elevator hummed ascent, 60 floors of vertigo. Penthouse doors parted silent. I ghosted halls. Past Warhol knockoffs to the study. Hale's desk, mahogany beast.
Laptop Jainen. Hack time.
Password guess. His kid's birthday. From the file. Click. Open sesame. Files flooded. Ledgers. Hitless. My name circled red. Target. Neutralize via IA escalation. Download frenzy. Then alarm wail. Footsteps thunder. Freeze. Guard barked. Taser drawn.
Idove.
Chair shattering. Fist to throat. Knee to gut he dropped. Wheezing. But more coming. Out window. Fire escape? No. Sheer glass cliff.
Door burst. Hale.
Robe clad. Shotgun leveled.
Poppy.
Persistent as cancer. Flattered. I palm the drive. Backing. Your game's up.
Beak.
Nephew's mess?
Jamal.
It ends. His eyes. Father's grief? Boy was weak. Like you, chasing ghosts. Boom. Shot shredded plaster. I fired back. Wing clipping his shoulder. He staggered, I bolted. Elevator plunge, heart stop. Sirens below, Theo's aboard.
Van Peeled.
Me gasping triumph. But twist 3. Drive decrypted at safe house. Hale's final card.
A video. Me.
09. The beating. His voiceover. Leverage eternal. Blackmail reversed. Release it. My career craters. Bury it. His empire stands. Choice loomed. Dawn breaking bloody. The safe house reeked of stale takeout and desperation, a nondescript walk-up in Pilsen. Murals of Aztec warriors staring judgment from the walls.
Taupes.
Laptop fan whirring like a chainsaw, while Marge brewed tea strong enough to strip paint.
Me.
Slumped at the Formica table. The drive's contents a noose around my neck. That video, grainy cam from a squad car dash. Time-stamped 3:17 a.m. July 09.
Me.
25 and green. Baton raised over Jamal's curled form. Stay down, my voice cracked the speakers. Fear masquerading as fury. The kids please. I didn't do nothing. Officer. Then the swing, crack echoing eternal. Hale's narration dripped smug. Agent Harlow's first commendation. For valor. Or violence.
Cut to his face.
Post-recording. Keep this close. Robert. Insurance.
Klein.
Of course. The mentor who'd guided my report spun brutality into necessary force. They'd colluded from jump. Hale's money-buying silence. Klein's ambition the glue. Theo cleared his throat.
Boss.
Options? Leak selective? Or what? Nuke it. I snatched the mug. Scalding palms. That's tampering. Feds fry for less. Marge. Ever the rock. Slid a file across. Not if it's self-defense of the truth. Look, Ellis family settled civil. But the tape? Suppressed by court order. Hale violated that holding it. Loophole. Slim. But American as apple pie and lawsuit heaven. File it anonymous to the Sun-Times. Full package. Hale's Empire. The video as Exhibit A. Let the public decide my sins.
Tao note that.
Fingers flying. Uploading now. Dead man's switch. Triggers if we go dark.
Send.
Catharsis hit like vomit. Ugly. Relieving. Jamal's face flashed. Not victim. But mirror. I'd carried that guilt like a rucksack through hell. Now. It lightened. Shared burden. But Hale wouldn't fold quiet. By noon, my phone exploded. Alerts from Brass.
Urgent briefing.
DC. Calling shots. Hale's lawyers already spinning. Claiming deepfake smears on his philanthropy. Media frenzy. CNN loop of the gala clip. Me waltzing with the devil. Headlines querying FBI hero or hot mess. I rolled into HQ. Vultures on the plaza, snapping flashes like gunfire. Inside. Conference room apocalypse. Sacks on video link. Faces thunder. Acting Deputy Director Hale, no relation. Irony's joke, led the charge. Harlow, explain the unsanctioned op. And this. Footage leak. Evidence gathering, I said, standing tall. Hale's the apex predator. Video's context, suppressed brutality, tied to his cover-up network. Murmurs rippled. A silver-haired suit from oversight. Context? It's assault.
Agent.
Your assault. Air sucked out. I was cleared. Force justified. Suspected weapon. By whom? Klein. The name hung. Toxic. Your endorser? Resigned amid scandal? Trap sprung. They had me dancing on coals. Full disclosure, yes. But the drive. Planted.
Hale iki siniret.
Or stolen. Chain of custody. Harlow, ever hear of it? Silence crushed. I gone rogue. Off-books clause stretched thin as gum. One wrong word. And my badge, interim or not, revoked for real. Then.
Schelfation, door burst.
March hauling a courier box. Express delivery for the room. Inside, Voss. Lena Voss. Pearls swapped for power suit. Flanked by ACLU sharks. Judge Voss's estate versus.
FBI Yal.
We're lifting the suppression on the Ellis tape. Public interest, your interest? Apparently. Chaos. Lawyers barked. Links crashed servers with downloads. The video aired live, my swing. Jamal's cry, context dumped. Hale's payoffs. Klein's memos. Narrative flipped, not villain Poppy, but cog in a corrupt wheel.
Hale iki blanchet.
This is litigation gold, Voss purred. Settle now. Full probe on Hale Sr. Harlow immunity. Or we drag this to The Hague. Bluff. Half. But Brass buckled, scandal fatigue. Election year jitters. By evening, warrants issued. Hale's penthouse swarmed. His ledgers seized. The man himself fled to a private jet. But Interpol pinged. Extradition pending.
Me?
Suspended pending review. But the clause, that damn contract immortality, kicked in. No termination without due process. I walked free. Badge clipped to my belt like a dare. Night fell electric. I hit a rooftop bar in Wicker Park. City lights sprawling like a conquered map. Whiskey neat. Ice clinking truce.
Tau det stet, lik visor.
Poppy truth trending. You're a meme. Badass cop emoji. Laugh escaped.
Raw.
But victory soured quick. Jamal's mom called. Voice steel wool. Saw the tape. Girl.
Knew it was bullshit then.
You come in clean now. Yeah. Mrs. Ellis. Overdue.
Pause heavy. I'm sorry.
Forgiven?
Nah.
But understood. Fight the real monsters.
Click.
Tears pricked. Absolution half granted. Next dawn. Twist 4 blindsided. Harlan. Out on bail. Cornered me at a gas station off I-94. Bail? Donors deep-pocketed. Hale's ghost money. He looked wrecked, unshaven. Eyes hollow pits. Pops. Grabbed my arm, weak, but desperate. It wasn't all me.
Hale.
He had the video on you. Blackmailed Klein. Klein me. Chain reaction. I wrenched free. Glock half drawn. Excuses? You pulled the trigger on Malik. Framed me. Survival. He sagged against the pump. Rain from last night puddling his loafers. But listen, their plan B. If Hale falls, they pin the rings on you. That clause? They'll void it. Claim misconduct from '09. Ice in veins. Reyes flipped. Immunity deal. Spilled. You're the fall guy, Redix. Clean the board.
Rage and
Pity? Harlan. The partner I'd mourned in death. Why tell me? Because you came back. Whisper fevered. Saw it in your eyes that night. Like you knew the end. If karma's real, fix it. He handed a key fob Rhea's locker. Evidence inside. Burn it. Or use it. Gone before sirens wailed, his or mine. I bolted. Fob burning pocket. Back home. Locker raided under cover of dark files. A burner with texts, Reyes to Klein. Harlow's digging. Accelerate frame. And photos me. Tailed for weeks. But the real bomb, audio, Klein to Hale, the girl's contract is the snag. Revoke it legally, IA probe on the brutality. She's radioactive. Plan crystallized. Bury me under Jamal's ghost. Void the clause.
no appeals.
Clean kill.
No suicide mes.
Counterstrike time. I called Voss. Ally up. Full court press. By noon.
Presser, me.
Voss. Ellis family on steps of the federal courthouse. Cameras blinded. I stepped to the mic. Voice steady as Lake Michigan. 10 years ago. I made a mistake. Force gone wrong. A kid paid the price. But the system? It shielded the real criminals, men like Victor Hale and Robert Klein, who turned justice into a racket. Gasps rippled. Jamal's mom beside me. Hand on shoulder, forged in fire. This ain't absolution. It's reckoning. Questions flew. Intent to confess. Resign.
No.
Chin up. Fight. For Malik. For Jamal. For every badge bent wrong. Viral again. Badge reckoning. Public roared. Petitions.
Obedience hailing flawed hero.
Hale's jet grounded in Toronto. RCMP custody. Extradition hearing set.
Klein?
Suicided in his cell. Official.
Bull.
But 2 down. Reyes? Last thread. I tracked her to a no-tell motel on Cicero. Neon vacancy buzzing dirge. She answered door in sweats. Eyes raccoon from crying.
Poppy.
Come to gloat. To end it. I pushed in. Door clicking shut. Room stank of despair. Takeout boxes. Half-smoked packs. Flip full. Testify against the remnants. Or rot. She laughed. Broken glass. Remnants? It's everywhere. Hale's just the face, syndicate's tentacles in City Hall. Wall Street. You think busting one saves shit? Maybe not. I sat on the bed's edge. Gun holstered, trust test. But it's a start. Harlan's ghost said you flipped partial. Go all in. Eyes search mine sister to sister? Why spare me? Because betrayal's a mirror. I see my old self in you, loyal till it bites.
Pause.
Jamal's mom forgave Fraction. Do better. Tears tracked.
Deal.
Her statement dropped next day. Depositions.
Wire transfers.
Names. Dozen mid-levels tumbling like dominoes. Feds swarmed. Indictments raining. But tension crested. My IA hearing. Oversight board. Wood-paneled tomb. Panel of fossils grilled. Video looped. My testimony dissected. Excessive. Harlow. Reckless. Human, I countered. And in context, Hale's machine forced my hand then. As now. Votes split. Hung jury. Clause held. No revocation.
Bagmine.
Scarred but standing. Crest. Hale's trial. Federal courthouse. Summer swelter turning suits to saunas. I testified. Cross under fire. Objection. Witness bias. Hale's shark. Silk-voiced. Sustained. But Voss objected back. Bias? The defendants bought every silence in this town. Jury swayed. Ledgers spoke louder. Verdict. Guilty. All counts. Sentence. Life. No parole. His glare from the dock. You won the battle. Harlow. Wars eternal. Twist 5. Post-trial leak. Anonymous. Reyes. Video of Klein's suicide. Staged. Hale's last goons pulling strings from inside. Cleanup crew activated. 3 arrests. Rings heart-excised.
Mi. Est-ce assez permanent?
Brass's reluctant nod. But the cost. Jamal's mural visited weekly. Flowers wilting like regrets. Harlan vanished. Witness protection? Or shallow grave? Didn't matter. Cycle broken.
Mine anyway.
Autumn crept in like a thief. Leaves turning the loop into a postcard of false serenity. My office, Klein's old perch, overlooked it all. A kingdom of glass and grudges. Files stacked high, mop-up ops. New recruits wide-eyed with ideals I envied. Badge weighed heavier now. Etched with ghosts, Malik's easy laugh. Jamal's defiant stare. Even Harlan's crooked grin. Victory? Sure. But in the quiet hours, doubt whispered. Was this redemption? Or just deferred damnation? First week as full SAC. Baptism by bureaucracy. Mornings bled into strategy sessions, reallocating funds from the rot. Bolstering IA with real teeth. Afternoons. Victim meets. Like Mrs. Ellis over coffee in a diner that smelled of grease and grace. He'd be 24 now, she said, stirring sugar into black. College. Maybe. Protests. Her smile cracked. You given, am hell up there? Trying. I slid a check, reparations fund. My pet project. For the center. His name on the door. She pocketed it. Eyes soft. Don't thank me yet. Ghosts demand more. She was right. Hale's empire crumbled. But tendrils lingered. Whispers of copycats in Milwaukee.
Detroit.
My war? Ongoing vigil. Theo thrived. Promoted to cyber lead. His safe house hacks now doctrine. You're changing the game. Boss. He geeked over burritos. Marge? My shadow chief of staff. Her Rolodex a weapon of mass networking. But crack showed. Nightmares evolved, not death. But echoes, bat and swing. Harlan's boot.
Hail as shotgun boom.
Therapy? Mandated. A shrink named Dr. Ruiz with a no-nonsense bob and eyes that peeled layers. Anger's your armor.
Poppy.
But under, guilt's the blade. Slices deep. I admitted. First session breaking ice. Died once metaphor. Betrayed by everyone. Came back swinging. She nodded.
No flinch.
Rebirth stories, myth or madness? Both. Pen tapped. But the clause? That contract glitch? It saved me twice. Legal immortality. Homework. Journal the what-ifs. I did. Pages filling with alternate endings, me dead permanent. Harlan reformed. Jamal alive.
Catharsis.
Or torment. Weekend warped personal. Blind date.
Tesha Sito.
Bar in Lincoln Park. Craft IPAs and indie folk strumming. She was Quinn, redhead.
L'épreuve.
Laugh like wind chimes. Heard you the Fed who took down the Dawn. Badass. Overhyped. We clicked talk books. Not badges. Her hand on mine. Warm anchor. But when she asked ghosts, I froze. Plenty. Work hazard. Date 2. Dinner. Her place. Candlelight danced. Walls lined with dog-eared Austin. Post-dinner haze. Bodies tangled, sweat and sighs chasing shadows. Dawn. Her head on my chest. Murmuring, stay. Tempted. But phone buzzed. Alert, Reyes. Testifying in Milwaukee spillover. Go, she said. Kissing temple. Save the world first. Normalities tease. Back to grind, cross-jurisdictional task force. Me leading. Partners from Detroit PD. Skeptical suits. Chicago's mess, one griped. Your cleanup. Our headache. Share rot. I countered. Briefing room projector humming. Hale's model. Infiltrate. Launder. Eliminate. We map it. We gut it. Buy and slow. But Theo's visuals sold. Heat maps of dirty flows. Predictive algos flagging threats. By week's end, first bust, warehouse in Hamtramck. Fighters liberated. Ledgers torched. High faded fast. Anonymous mail.
No postmark.
Manila envelope thick. Inside, photos me and Quinn. Time-stamped last night. Note typed. Personal now. Back off the north flows. Or she bleeds. Ice flood. Tendril strike. Copycat syndicate. Hale's disciples. I traced postmark. Blank. But the angle? Rooftop across her street. Quinn dismissed. Paranoid Fed stuff. I'm tough. Tough dies. I pulled details. Bodyguard detail. Her apartment swept. She rolled eyes but relented. This your life? Chasing forever. Worth it.
Kish sealed.
But doubt-seated. Escalation. Briefing leak. Task force cords in the wild, fed to dark web. Internal mole. Hunt on polygraphs. Log audits.
Theo Verlaget, Zunio Anlasit.
Kid with gambling debts. Squeezed by the remnants. Interrogation. Him blubbering in a box downtown. They knew about you, the death thing. Said you were cursed. Pay or pictures of my sister. Death thing. Rumor. Harlan babbled in lockup, you knew too much. Like psychic shit. Gossip's venom. I leaned in. Who they? Ghost Cell. Hale's son, Victor Jr. Low profile, but pulling from Toronto. Twist 6. Heir apparent. Hale's spawn.
28.
Tech bro facade masking venom.
File pulled, MIT dropout.
Crypto is funding the new rings via blockchain ghosts. Strike team greenlit my call. Clause cover. Night op, Toronto safe house. RCMP assist. Jet fuel and jet lag. We hit pre-dawn. Breachers on doors. Flashbangs popping like fireworks. Junior. In boxers. Laptop mid-keystroke. FBI? This jurisdiction. International incident. I snapped. Cuffing him. Drives seized. Wallets. Addresses US. Cells primed. Back stateside. Plea bargain. Flip for leniency. He cracked over prison slop. Dad laughed at you. The ghost fed. Said your contract was joke. But you twisted it.
Now?
I'll burn it all.
Did. Addictement cascaded 20+.
From beat cops to bankers. North flows choked. But personal toll, Quinn veiled. Text post-op. Love the fire. But can't live in crosshairs. Be safe. Hero.
Gut Punch.
Empty bed echoed louder than gunshots. Solstice, holiday party. Bureau style, eggnog and awkward toasts. I stood podium.
Glass raised.
To the fallen Malik. Gerald Voss. Even Harlan. They paid for our blind spots. Here's to seeing clear.
Apla lu tunde, theo whoop.
Marge slipped arm. Proud. Kid. After, rooftop. City breathless under snow globe hush. Phone rang unknown. Harlow. Voice gravel, Harlan. Heard you ice the kid. Clean. Cleanish. You? Witness farm. Bored shitless. Chuckle rasped. Oh you. For believing once. Forgiven. Echo of Ellis. Half. Keep swinging.
Click.
Closure fraction. Dawn New Year. Resolution etched. Journal final entry. Died once. Lived twice. Claws saved body. Truth saved soul. Monsters slain. But more lurk. Fight on. Office view. Skyline infinite. Promise and peril. Badge clipped. Revoked no more. Contract eternal. Like me. Epilogue whisper. Months later. Mural expanded. Jamal's face beside Malik's. Harlan's faint outline. Caption spray. Redeemed by reckoning. I trace letters. Wind off lake biting sweet. What if faded, now was forge? And in the quiet, I breathed free.